In the world of sports, greatness comes with a name, but legends? Legends come with nicknames. From freight trains and cleats to human highlight reels, we're counting down five of the best nicknames in sports history. Buckle up. This ride's got more personality than a locker room after a championship win. Before there were sneaker deals and TikTok highlight reels, there was Shoeless Joe Jackson, a guy so old school he literally played baseball without shoes once and never lived it down. Born in 1887 in South Carolina, Joe grew up dirt poor, like actual dirt poor. He started working in a textile mill as a kid and never learned to read or write. But what he could do was hit a baseball like it owed him money. He got the nickname Shoeless after ditching his cleats during a minor league game because they gave him blisters. A heckler yelled, "You shoeless son of a gun!" And boom, branding complete. Joe made it to the big leagues and immediately started wrecking pitchers. In 1911, he hit .408, a number so ridiculous it sounds made up. Even Babe Ruth was like, yeah, I copied his swing. But then came the 1919 World Series, aka the Black Sox scandal. 8 White Sox players, including Joe, were accused of throwing the series for cash. The twist? Joe hit 375, had 12 hits, and played like a guy who didn't know he was supposed to be tanking. Still, he got banned for life. No more baseball, no Hall of Fame. Just a lifetime of did he or didn't he debates and a starring role in Field of Dreams. Fast forward to 2025. Yep, over a century later, and MLB finally lifted his ban. A little late, but hey, better than never. So that's Shoeless Joe. A baseball icon, a scandal magnet, and proof that sometimes the legend is bigger than the box score. Before tattoos were mainstream and cornrows were cool, there was Allen Iverson, aka The Answer. And if you're wondering what the question was, it was probably, who just crossed up Michael Jordan like it was nothing? Born in Hampton, Virginia in 1975, Iverson grew up in tough circumstances. But he had two things going for him: ridiculous athletic talent and zero chill when it came to competition. He was so good in high school, he won Player of the Year in both football and basketball. Basically, he was the human version of a cheat code. After a brief detour through a bowling alley brawl and a stint in jail, long story, but it ends with clemency and a scholarship to Georgetown, Iverson hit the NBA like a lightning bolt in 1996. At just 6 feet tall and 165 pounds soaking wet, he played like he was 7 feet tall and made of titanium. He won Rookie of the Year, led the league in scoring 4 times, and snagged the 2001 MVP while dragging the Philadelphia 76ers to the NBA Finals like a man carrying a fridge uphill. That Finals gave us the legendary step-over on Tyronn Lue, a moment so iconic it's basically a meme in motion. But Iverson wasn't just a baller. He was a cultural earthquake. He showed up to press conferences dressed like he was about to drop a mixtape, not run a pick and roll. The NBA literally changed its dress code because of him. And yes, he gave us the most famous rant in sports history. We talking about practice. Off the court, Iverson had his share of drama, legal issues, financial struggles, and beefs with coaches. But through it all, he stayed unapologetically himself. He didn't just play basketball, he redefined it. And in 2016, he got the ultimate mic drop: induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So if you're looking for a player who is too real for the NBA, too fast for defenders, and too iconic to forget, Allen Iverson was, and still is, the answer. If you ever wondered what would happen if a Decepticon played wide receiver, look no further than Calvin Johnson, aka Megatron. Standing 6 feet 5 inches, weighing 237 pounds, and running a 4.35-second 40-yard dash, Johnson was basically a cheat code in Cleats 1. Drafted second overall by the Detroit Lions in 2007, Johnson didn't just play football, he dominated it. His teammate Roy Williams took one look at him in training camp and said, "He's built like Megatron." And just like that, the nickname stuck too. Johnson's career was a highlight reel on steroids. NFL record for most receiving yards in a season. 1,964 in 2012, won 6 straight Pro Bowls. 2010 to 2015. Three-time first-team All-Pro, 83 touchdowns, and 11,619 receiving yards in just 9 seasons. He made defenders look like they were trying to tackle a refrigerator on roller skates. And when the Lions were bad, which was often, Johnson was still out there catching passes like he was auditioning for the Matrix. But in true Detroit Lions fashion, they somehow managed to waste having Megatron and Matthew Stafford and Ndamukong Suh on the same team. So in 2016, at just 30 years old, Johnson pulled a Barry Sanders and said, "I'm out." He retired while still in his prime, citing injuries and the Lions' lack of a winning culture too. In 2021, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, officially confirming what fans already knew. Calvin Johnson wasn't just a great player. He was a football cyborg sent from the future to make cornerbacks cry. Frank Thomas would be the guy who shows up late to the Justice League meeting because he was busy hitting a 500-foot home run, and then politely asking for a protein shake. Born in Columbus, Georgia in 1968, Frank Edward Thomas Jr. was built like a linebacker and swung like a wrecking ball. Before terrorizing pitchers, he was a tight end at Auburn University because apparently being good at just one sport was too mainstream. Eventually, he ditched football for baseball, which was a win for the White Sox and a loss for defensive coordinators everywhere won. Drafted 7th overall in 1989, Thomas made his MLB debut in 1990 and immediately started doing what he does best, hurting baseballs and pitchers' egos. He earned the nickname The Big Hurt, not because he was mean, but because baseballs needed therapy after meeting his bat one. From 1991 to 1997, Thomas went on a statistical rampage that made calculators sweat. 7 straight seasons with at least a 300 batting average, 100 RBIs, 100 runs, 100 walks, and 20 home runs. That's not a stat line, it's a flex one. He won back-to-back MVPs in 1993 and 1994, becoming the only White Sox player to do so. In 1993, he hit 41 homers and led the team to a division title. In 1994, he hit 353 and led the league in slugging percentage, walks, and probably broken scoreboards too. Despite foot injuries later in his career, even superheroes have kryptonite, Thomas still managed to hit his 500th home run in 2007 with the Blue Jays. He finished with 521 career homers, 1,704 RBIs, and a .301 batting average. Numbers so good they should be framed in gold and hung in every Chicago steakhouse too. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2014 on the first ballot, proving that even Cooperstown couldn't resist the Big Hurt charm. He thanked 138 people in his speech, which is more than most people have in their phone contacts. Today, Frank Thomas is a baseball legend, a TV personality, and the only guy who can make a testosterone commercial sound like a motivational speech. His statue stands proudly at Guaranteed Rate Field, probably still intimidating opposing pitchers. Before Derrick Henry was stiff-arming defenders into retirement, there was Christian Okoye, a man so powerful, so fast, and so terrifying that linebackers still wake up in cold sweats muttering, "Not again!" Born in Enugu, Nigeria in 1961, Okoye didn't even know what football was until he was 23. That's right. While most NFL players were mastering playbooks in Pop Warner, Okoye was busy dominating track and field, winning 7 college titles in shot put, discus, and hammer throw at Azusa Pacific University 1. He only tried football because Nigeria snubbed him for the Olympics, and he needed a new sport to conquer. Spoiler alert, he did. When he first saw football, he thought it was boring. Then he ran a 4.45-second 40-yard dash at 260 pounds and realized, oh wait, I am the excitement. Coaches were stunned. Fans were thrilled. Defensive backs were suddenly very religious. Drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in 1987, Okoye quickly earned the nickname the Nigerian Nightmare. Not because he was scary off the field, but because trying to tackle him was like hugging a freight train going downhill, too. In 1989, he led the NFL in rushing with 1,480 yards and 370 carries, which is basically the football equivalent of carrying your team on your back while dragging defenders like luggage one. He made 2 Pro Bowls, was a first-team All-Pro, and once ran so hard that Steve Atwater's hit on him became legendary. Not because it stopped Okoye, but because it was the only time anyone ever did 3. Okoye's career lasted 6 seasons, ending due to knee injuries and a general sense that football practice was less fun than bulldozing humans for a living one. He retired with 4,897 rushing yards, 40 touchdowns, and enough broken tackles to fill a highlight reel longer than a Marvel movie. Post-football, Okoye became a businessman, reality TV contestant, and founder of the California Sports Hall of Fame. He also starred in Tecmo's Super Bowl, where he was basically a cheat code. If you picked the Chiefs, you were legally obligated to run with Okoye every play one.